Hi, I'm Hannah Beckerman and my first novel is called The Dead Wife's Handbook. The Dead Wife's Handbook is the story of Rachel, who is 36 and is dead, and she's in some sort of netherworld looking down on the beloved husband and daughter that she's left behind, and it's the story of her coming to terms with the life that she's lost as she watches her family coming to terms with life without her. The first book I really loved was probably Ballet Shoes by Noel Streatfeild. I loved doing ballet when I was a child and I'd absolutely adored that book. The first book I ever read twice was probably Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. The first character I ever wanted to be was probably anyone in the Malory Towers or St Clair's series, because I read them all when I was a child avidly, and I had a fantasy about what boarding school would be like, and I wanted to be one of those girls at one of those boarding schools. The first character I ever fell in love with was probably Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. The first movie I ever went to see at the cinema was E.T. and I was about 6 years old, and I remember crying buckets and so much that my brothers who were in the cinema with me insisted that they move seats because I was so embarrassing. And the first album I ever bought was The Kids from Fame. I was a big Fame fan, and I remember singing along and dancing along at home to it. The first thing I ever went to see at the theatre was The Nutcracker. I think it was the English National Ballet, and I was about 6, and my mum took me and it became an annual event and we used to go and see it every year. My first job was as a waitress, not in a cocktail bar, but in a little cafe every Saturday, and the upside was we were allowed to eat as much food as we liked, so it wasn't too bad a job at all. The first story that I ever remember writing was when I was about 6 or 7, and we had to write a story about autumn, and I wrote a story about the leaves and walking through a big forest, and I remember it got published in the school magazine and I was very, very proud of myself.